Hi again, it's me, Russell Andresen, here for another one of my video blogs. Tonight we'll be doing another book review. I believe this is number 5, or is it 6 in our list? Let me double check that. I believe that we are... Time sure does fly, doesn't it? My goodness gracious, this is number 5. We got a fun one for tonight. First, I'd like to just bring everyone's attention back to where we're all coming from here. See if we can get this in focus. There you go. Fantastic Dreams Books. Fiction and non-fiction adventures. www.fantasticdreamsbooks.com. There's the phone number. On the website, you will get all of the appropriate shipping information. There, you can get copies of Are You Kosher? Memoirs of a Jewish Vampire. This is the one that started it all. You can get my latest dark comedy, The Queen and I, which I'm sure every single one of you are going to love. And trust me when I tell you this, you're never going to get the ending. You'll never in a million years guess the ending. And then, the big one, A Crude World. The one that has sent former members and current members of the New York Mercantile Exchange, where they trade the world's oil and gasoline, into a frenzy. Forget that garbage that you might have read in that book, The Asylum. Woman never even worked on the trading floor. She doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. Also, while we're at it, I'd like to bring your attention back to Pacer.org. The Pacer National Bullying Prevention Center, NBPC, pacer.org/bullying. You can also follow them on Twitter at Pacer Center. You can follow me on Twitter at RWAAuthor1974. You can find me on Tumblr on RWAAuthor1974. You can find me on Facebook. You can go to my Facebook authors page, which is Russell Andresen/author. And pretty much right now, that's what we're looking at. We've got a very big, exciting add-on coming soon to Goodreads, which I'm very, very excited about. But tonight we are going to have some fun with our review. And I'm smiling to myself. And I'm sure you're probably wondering why I'm smiling to myself. I'm smiling to myself because this is a tricky review tonight. This is a very tricky review. Because this book has currently been turned into a television show. And the television show is such a bastardization of what I consider to be a pretty decent book that I was able to watch the first episode and I vowed I would never watch another one. Another thing that makes this interesting is that it is written by a man who I don't even know when the last time was that he wrote a book on his own. That man, of course, is James Patterson. It's a shame, too, because I've read books by James Patterson that I've absolutely loved. The Lake House, When the Wind Blows. I thought those were fantastic books. But James Patterson has relegated himself now to the life of offering what he calls master writing classes so that he can make a buck off of the aspiring writer instead of letting nature take its course and weeding out who should be and who shouldn't be writing, which is some of the things that I cover in my blog, The Angst of the Indie Author. The person who actually wrote this book is named Michael Ledwidge. So, even though I'm going to be reviewing this book, which you may have seen on television, Zoo, and it says James Patterson, the book was written by Michael Ledwidge. What James Patterson does is he comes up with an idea, and I'm not even sure how much of it is really even his idea, because I don't know the man personally. What I do know is that he basically comes up with the idea, and he gets other people to write the books for him. which is why he's able to turn out book after book after book after book after book at such lightning speed that it's almost dizzying. Now, the premise of the book Zoo is actually quite clever. Not that dreck that they've been spewing with the television show. For example, look at the cover here. I want you to take a look at this. See the eye? See how there's like that very weird thing with the eye? Okay. That has absolutely nothing, nada, to do with the book. It's never even mentioned in the book. Yet they have focused the entire television series around it. In the television series, they have you believing that the animals are going crazy because of some kind of genetic defect that one of the guy's fathers wound up going insane trying to prove, and that it all had to do with some mysterious little defect in the eye that showed that the animals were crazy, and that the animals were rising up against humans, and that there were even some humans who had this same genetic defect. The book itself was so much the polar opposite. I'm debating on this. I don't want to do the spoiler alert, so I'm not going to. The only thing I can tell you is that if you have been watching the show Zoo, and you've been enjoying it, I'm sorry to tell you this, but that says a lot about what you consider to be entertainment. I would still recommend the book to you, but please, for the sake of all that is decent and holy, ignore everything that you've seen on that show and focus only on the words that were written by Michael Ledwidge. I'm going to show the book again. Michael Ledwidge, not James Patterson. His name is on it so that he can sell copies. Go to your local Barnes & Noble. Seriously. Or go on Amazon.com or go on BarnesandNoble.com and look up James Patterson books. And then click on the book, and at the bottom of every single book, just like this one, you will see someone else's name. Usually it's a man, sometimes it's a woman. You'll see his name on top, their name on the bottom. They're the ones who are writing the book, not him. So I'm reviewing the book based on what Mr. Ledwidge did. Now, based off of this book, Zoo, I have nothing but the utmost respect for Michael Ledwidge's storytelling. I thought that it was actually a very clever story, and I was wondering what they were going to finally get at. And when it's revealed towards the end of the book, obviously, what has been causing this behavior amongst the animals, it left you saying to yourself, you know, yeah, it's a little far-fetched. Maybe it's a lot far-fetched, but there's so, I quote Louis L'Amour. Louis L'Amour said at the end of the book, The Haunted Mesa, which, by the way, I will review also. But he says in an author's note at the end of the book, there is so much about the earth that we live in that we do not understand, that we can't possibly rule anything out. And in this book, Zoo, as far-fetched as the storyline may be, I'll quote Louis L'Amour on that. There is so much we don't know that it would be the height of ignorance to rule anything out without questioning. Now we come to the part where I issue the big moment, the reward. I would love to give this book 3 stars out of 5. I can't. I can't do it, and the reason why I can't do it is because not one person wrote this book. And as an author, granted I'm an indie author, and I would kill to have Mr. Patterson's success. What he does is not writing. He comes up with ideas and he gets someone else to write it. He's not staying up late at night stressing out over the words. He's not the one who's under a deadline to print the words, because he's got so many people writing for him. Mr. Ledwidge deserves all the credit for this book. Mr. Ledwidge, you, sir, get 2.5 stars. That's my rating. Now, I said that 2.5 stars is average. Consider this a high 2.5 stars, because I do recommend this book. But because of the fact that Mr. Patterson does not write his own books, and he surfs them out to other authors, I just can't go higher than that. Perhaps in the future I will review some of the books that he wrote actually on his own, and I will give you a review of those. But for the time being, we're going to stick with this. Zoo by Michael Ledwidge. Idea by James Patterson. 2.5 out of 5 stars, and the 2.5 stars all belong to Mr. Ledwidge. None of them go to James Patterson, because he didn't write it. Not only that, he sold himself out, because what they did to this book in the TV show was an absolute crime. And it was embarrassing. I felt embarrassed watching it. I felt guilty convincing my younger brother, who had not read the book yet, to watch the first episode. And I told him, I said, you know what, let's quit now, because I want you to enjoy the book. And I don't want you being confused by anything that you see on television. So there you have it. Zoo by James Patterson, 2.5 stars. And to get it back in focus, there we go. Visit FantasticDreamsBooks.com. I guarantee you, you will find something there to your liking. Let's see if we got it all in there. FantasticDreamsBooks.com. That's where you will find all of my stuff. I hope that you read my stuff. I hope you enjoy it, and I would love your feedback. So until next time, when perhaps we do another blog on the angst of the indie author, I say good night, good luck, and God bless.